What's up guys, Houndish here, and today I wanted to round up a few little things regarding the Curse of Osiris and the updates coming next week. Some of this actually comes from Twitter. A lot of the Bungie folks are being much more active on Twitter and talking to people and giving answers about stuff. And this includes a hint towards when the raid is going to launch. As well as this, we have some information about the raid keys. They talk about vault space a little bit, and there's a couple of other important things to note. On top of this though, I wanted to point out a couple of things about some of the gear, a new exotic coming in Curse of Osiris, and in particular Illuminated Engrams, which is a new type of Engram coming in this DLC, and a couple of other bits and bobs, so let's get into it. First of all, for people wondering about when the raid is going to launch inside of this expansion, essentially the first week is completely off the cards, so someone actually tweeted Deej any word on when the raid lair would release, and Deej replied, "We'll forecast the opening of the raid lair next week after the launch of Curse of Osiris. You'll have a few days advance notice to build a fire team." So you don't have to worry about this dropping next week. They say a few days advance notice. Of course, we will get this week at Bungie next Thursday on the 7th. Then if we look at the Leviathan, all of the normal and prestige versions actually launched on a Wednesday. So I think we could be looking at Wednesday 13th of December for the raid layer launch date. But someone actually replied with a bit of frustration. They said, "This is total bull. We have jobs. Is world first reserved for streamers and the unemployed only?" And Deej said, "I don't think we're going to call world first for this one. Play it for fun whenever it fits into your life." And some people on Reddit kind of speculated this could be because the raid is very, very short. We know that it's going to be shorter than Leviathan, although we don't know exactly what to expect just yet. I don't necessarily think they would not call worlds first though because of the length of the raid. One possibility in my mind is that perhaps they haven't fixed all of the kind of heavy ammo bugs, things like the ward cliff glitches that we've seen, as well as the callus bug as it's known. The callus bug itself is actually a glitch that affects the entire of the Leviathan raid right now, so you can essentially cheese every encounter, and if indeed they haven't fixed that, then it's very likely that we'll see it in the raid layer as well, because, you know, it's probably on pretty similar architecture and everything like that. Of course, that bit is pure speculation, but we will hear about the raid launch next week after Curse of Osiris is actually dropped. Something else I wanted to point out linking to the raid is that raid keys from the Leviathan will actually begin to disappear every weekly reset once again after Curse of Osiris drops. And we can see the Bungie update here, they actually turned this functionality off because of a glitch when creating a new character or signing into an alternate character that hadn't signed in since reset was actually removing keys inside of, you know, one particular reset. So essentially the important thing is that come Tuesday all raid keys will vanish, and they will continue to vanish upon weekly resets. And of course people are doing it in the hopes of getting new exotics next week. Unfortunately that won't work. I will talk about some things you can do to prepare for Curse of Osiris at the end of the video though. A couple of days ago we learned about preloading and the maintenance immediately before Curse of Osiris drops on Tuesday, but we actually have a specific time that the maintenance is supposed to be ending on Tuesday, and that is 10 AM Pacific, and that'll be 6 PM in the UK, so that is the time that Curse of Osiris is supposed to actually become available to play. And starting at 8 AM Pacific, which will be 4 PM in the UK, this is when update 1.1.0 and the Curse of Osiris DLC will be available to download and pre-install. So basically you have a window of 2 hours to get it installed if you want to jump in immediately at launch, which is 10 AM Pacific. On the subject of vault space, someone tweeted Deej, "What about the vault space? I'm running out of space and I don't have all weapons and armor yet." Deej said, "Vault space is a known ask and we will continue to make sure it is known." So I would take that alongside the fact that we haven't heard about this as confirmation that there will be no vault space upgrade inside of the Curse of Osiris. And I know some folks will definitely feel pretty frustrated about that. I'm very limited on vault space myself on my Xbox, and I only have one Titan on that Xbox. So with, you know, a full collection of basically everything in the game right now, I'm running out of space already, so I really do feel for you guys who have 3 characters on one platform. Moving on though, I wanted to talk about a couple of things regarding the gear inside of Curse of Osiris. So we had the new trailer a couple of days back, but the header image for this week at Bungie is actually pretty interesting because we see a hunter holding what appears to be a Red Death hand cannon. So it has the exact same aesthetic as the Red Death, but obviously is a hand cannon, and this is very likely to be an exotic weapon. Hopefully this will be a quest exotic or something as opposed to a completely random drop, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, it's going to be very interesting to see what that hand cannon does. There's a couple of other interesting things right here. So inside of GameSpot's gameplay of the new public event on Mercury, we actually see a player find an illuminated Engram. The most interesting thing about this is that they complete the public event, so you can see the player on screen has unlocked a whole bunch of XP right there, and then a different player has unlocked the illuminated Engram. So it would appear that this is actually a bright Engram type of thing, so it could be the new Season 2 version of the bright Engram. And it does kind of make sense that this would happen, because if you remember back in D1, we had those kind of loot boxes, treasures, or whatever they were, and there were different versions, you know, per season or per kind of live event period that we were in. This also meant that there was actually a way for players to unlock, you know, the previous kind of seasons featured stuff. So what I think is going to happen is we'll earn XP and we'll get Illuminated Engrams with Season 2 stuff from Eververse, and then they'll probably have a way to actually obtain bright Engrams, you know, perhaps by doing a particular activity each week. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Either way, we do have a new Engram type coming in this expansion. Another thing I'd point out which is interesting is a user called Looney on Reddit actually pointed out a screenshot from some of the Curse of Osiris gameplay, and I believe this was from Astacross's channel actually, but we have two new snipers on screen that are actually being dropped, and we can see one is the Belfry Bounty and it's described as a power weapon. The other one though is the Maestro 46, and this is described as a sniper rifle. And I'm pretty sure whenever snipers drop down the side of the screen, they always say power weapon because of course they go in the power slot. Perhaps we're actually going to see an energy sniper rifle, you know, one that goes in the secondary slot as opposed to in the power slot. The final thing I wanted to talk about is preparation for Curse of Osiris. Back in the day, I always used to make videos, how can you prepare for this expansion? And, you know, burn through the content as quickly as humanly possible. Inside of Curse of Osiris though, it's pretty basic really, isn't it? I mean, the one thing you can do is hoard exotic engrams. Now, when you do this, we don't know whether you're going to get, you know, new stuff inside of the expansion or whether they're going to be completely locked off. On the front of tokens, I don't think they're actually going to be wiped. There's a lot of speculation about whether this stuff would happen, but if they were going to be wiped, I would anticipate we would hear about stuff like that. It's not a good time not to tell us that, Bungie, by the way. So my guess anyway is that they're actually going to stay in the game. We have, however, seen new Vanguard weapons, and some of them have been kind of reviewed in the coverage for Curse of Osiris, so it looks like there will be new Vanguard stuff at the very least, potentially new Crucible stuff as well, and we've seen that there will be some new Foundry weapons. The Metronome 42 Scout Rifle from Soros is a new one coming in the expansion, so it looks like tokens and materials, including legendary shards for all of the tower vendors, actually will be pretty beneficial and are going to carry over, but of course we will be spending a lot more legendary shards inside of Curse of Osiris than what we are right now. The only other thing I would throw in at this point would be that if you have any weekly milestones you haven't completed yet, you could always complete them and hang on to them. The same with clan engrams as well. You can actually stack up to 8 different clan engrams at Hawthorne, and all of these scale just like powerful engrams. So if you get any more of these done this week, it may be worth holding on to them if you're not that fussed about getting the loot right now. But of course we all play the game in our own different ways. I will be burning through everything as quickly as is humanly possible because it's essentially my job to do that. You guys don't necessarily have to. Anyway, that's going to sum up this video, guys. Some interesting, useful bits of information you may have missed. Let me know in the comment section any of your thoughts on the gear stuff or any of the information we've heard about the raid, vault space and everything like that. If you have enjoyed the video though, a like is very much appreciated. If you want to save 10% on control-free products, then check out the link in the description below or use code HOUNDISH at checkout and you'll save yourself a few bucks. For now though, you guys have an awesome day.